Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
An intense or violent exertion. Difficulty that causes worry or emotional tension. She endured the stresses and strains of life. Cause to be tense and uneasy or nervous or anxious. Test the limits of. Become stretched or tense or taut. The rope strained when the weight was attached. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. The act of singing. Remove by passing through a filter. Separate by passing through a sieve or other straining device to separate out coarser elements. Use to the utmost. Exert vigorously or to full capacity. Don't strain your mind too much. Biology. A group of organisms within a species that differ in trivial ways from similar groups. A new strain of microorganisms. A special variety of domesticated animals within a species. He created a new strain of sheep. The general meaning or substance of an utterance. To exert much effort or energy. Straining our ears to hear. An effortful attempt to attain a goal. Rub through a strainer or process in an electric blender. Alter the shape of something by stress. Psychology. Nervousness resulting from mental stress. His responsibilities were a constant strain. Injury to a muscle, often caused by overuse, results in swelling and pain. Physics. Deformation of a physical body under the action of applied forces. An intense or violent exertion. The act of distorting something so it seems to mean something it was not intended to mean. Taxing to the utmost. Testing powers of endurance. His final, straining burst of speed. To stress, single out as important. Difficulty that causes worry or emotional tension. She endured the stresses and strains of life. Special emphasis attached to something. The stress was more on accuracy than on speed. Test the limits of. The relative prominence of a syllable or musical note, especially with regard to stress or pitch. He put the stress on the wrong syllable. Psychology. A state of mental or emotional strain or suspense. Stress is a vasoconstrictor. Put stress on. Utter with an accent. Physics. Force that produces strain on a physical body. The intensity of stress is expressed in units of force divided by units of area. Cause to be tense and uneasy or nervous or anxious. He got a phone call from his lawyer that tensed him up. Become stretched or tense or taut. The bodybuilder's neck muscles tensed. Become tense, nervous, or uneasy. He tensed up when he saw his opponent enter the room. A grammatical category of verbs used to express distinctions of time. Increase the tension on. Alternately relax and tense your calf muscle. In or of a state of physical or nervous tension. Pronounced with relatively tense tongue muscles, e.g., the vowel sound in beat. Taut or rigid, stretched tight. Tense piano strings. Cause to be tense and uneasy or nervous or anxious. Become tense, nervous, or uneasy. melt, fat or lard, in order to separate out impurities. Try the yak butter. Test the limits of. You are trying my patience. Make an effort or attempt. Take a sample of. Put to the test, as for its quality, or give experimental use to. Put on a garment in order to see whether it fits and looks nice. Put on trial or hear a case and sit as the judge at the trial of. Earnest and conscientious activity intended to do or accomplish something. She gave it a good try. Examine or hear evidence or a case by judicial process. Give pain or trouble to. Exposed to fresh air. The mass of air surrounding the Earth. It was exposed to the air. Travel via aircraft. Air travel involves too much waiting in airports. Exposed to cool or cold air so as to cool or freshen. Air the old winter clothes. A slight wind, usually refreshing. As he waited, he could feel the air on his neck. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. She was humming an air from Beethoven. A distinctive but intangible quality surrounding a person or thing. An air of mystery. Broadcast over the airwaves, as in radio or television. We cannot air this X-rated song. Make public. She aired her opinions on welfare. Medium for radio and television broadcasting. The program was on the air from 9 till midnight. A mixture of gases, especially oxygen, required for breathing, the stuff that the wind consists of. Air pollution. Be broadcast. This show will air Saturdays at 2 p.m. Exposed to warm or heated air, so as to dry. Once thought to be one of 4 elements composing the universe, Empedocles. The region above the ground. Her hand stopped in mid-air. A course of reasoning aimed at demonstrating a truth or falsehood. The methodical process of logical reasoning. I can't follow your line of reasoning. A slight depression or fold in the smoothness of a surface. His face has many lines. Mechanical system in a factory whereby an article is conveyed through sites at which successive operations are performed on it. A connected series of events or actions or developments. Historians can only point out those lines for which evidence is available. The road consisting of railroad track and roadbed. A conceptual separation or distinction. There is a narrow line between sanity and insanity. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. A conductor for transmitting electrical or optical signals or electric power. The principal activity in your life that you do to earn money. He's not in my line of business. Make a mark or lines on a surface. Draw a line. Often plural, a means of communication or access. Lines of communication were set up between the 2 firms. The descendants of one individual. His entire lineage has been warriors. Space for one line of print, 1 column wide and 1/14 inch deep, used to measure advertising. A short personal letter. Drop me a line when you get there. A telephone connection. Be in line with, form a line along. Trees line the riverbank. The maximum credit that a customer is allowed. A particular kind of product or merchandise. A nice line of shoes. A pipe used to transport liquids or gases. A pipeline runs from the wells to the seaport. A commercial organization serving as a common carrier. Acting in conformity. In line with. A formation of people or things one behind another. The line stretched clear around the corner. A formation of people or things one beside another. The line of soldiers advanced with their bayonets fixed. A fortified position, especially one marking the most forward position of troops. They attacked the enemy's line. A length, straight or curved, without breadth or thickness, the trace of a moving point. A mark that is long relative to its width. He drew a line on the chart. A single frequency, or very narrow band, of radiation in a spectrum. A spatial location defined by a real or imaginary unidimensional extent. Cover the interior of. Line the gloves. Fill plentifully. Line one's pockets. In games or sports, a mark indicating positions or bounds of the playing area. Mark with lines. Sorrow had lined his face. Persuasive but insincere talk that is usually intended to deceive or impress. Let me show you my etchings as a rather worn line. Reinforce with fabric. Lined books are more enduring. Something, as a cord or rope, that is long and thin and flexible. A washing line. Text consisting of a row of words written across a page or computer screen. The letter consisted of 3 short lines. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. The perception of pleasant arrangements of musical notes. Adjust the pitches of musical instruments. My piano needs to be tuned. Adjust for better functioning. Tune the engine. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. The adjustment of a radio receiver or other circuit to a required frequency. The property of producing accurately a note of a given pitch. He cannot sing in tune. The act of singing. With a shout and a song they marched up to the gates. The imperial dynasty of China from 960 to 1279. Noted for art and literature and philosophy. A short musical composition with words. A successful musical must have at least 3 good songs. The characteristic sound produced by a bird. A bird will not learn its song unless it hears it at an early age. A distinctive or characteristic sound. The song of bullets was in the air. A very small sum. He bought it for a song. Remove by passing through a filter. Filter out the impurities. Pass through. Run or flow slowly, as in drops or in an unsteady stream. An electrical device that alters the frequency spectrum of signals passing through it. Device that removes something from whatever passes through it. Remove by passing through a filter. Filter out the impurities. Remove by passing through a filter. The product of filtration. A gas or liquid that has been passed through a filter. Remove by passing through a filter. A strainer for separating lumps from powdered material or grating particles. Distinguish and separate out. Examine in order to test suitability. Separate by passing through a sieve or other straining device to separate out coarser elements. Check and sort carefully. Distinguish and separate out. Sift through the job candidates. Separate by passing through a sieve or other straining device to separate out coarser elements. Sift the flour. Check and sort carefully. Sift the information. Move as if through a sieve. The soldier sifted through the woods. Extend in scope or range or area. The law was extended to all citizens. Offer verbally. Extend my greetings. Expand the influence of. The king extended his rule to the eastern part of the continent. Span an interval of distance, space or time. The war extended over 5 years. Extend or stretch out to a greater or the full length. Extend the TV antenna. Increase in quantity or bulk by adding a cheaper substance. Extend the casserole with a little rice. Thrust or extend out. Extend a hand. Continue or extend. The disease extended into the remote mountain provinces. Cause to move at full gallop. Reach outward in space. The awning extends several feet over the sidewalk. Use to the utmost. Exert vigorously or to full capacity. He really extended himself when he climbed Kilimanjaro. Stretch out over a distance, space, time, or scope. Run or extend between 2 points or beyond a certain point. My memory extends back to my 4th year of life. Make available. Provide. Extend a loan. Lengthen in time. Cause to be or last longer. She extended her visit by another day. Extend one's limbs or muscles, or the entire body. Open or straighten out. Unbend. Can we extend the legs of this dining table? Prolong the time allowed for payment of. Extend the loan. The visual appearance of something or someone. A perceptual structure. The composition presents problems for students of musical form. The phonological or orthographic sound or appearance of a word that can be used to describe or identify something. The inflected forms of a word can be represented by a stem in a list of inflections to be attached. Make something, usually for a specific function. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. Establish or impress firmly in the mind. A body of students who are taught together. Create, as an entity. Social groups form everywhere. Biology. A group of organisms within a species that differ in trivial ways from similar groups. A category of things distinguished by some common characteristic or quality. Sculpture is a form of art. A life-size dummy used to display clothes. Develop into a distinctive entity. Alternative names for the body of a human being. The spatial arrangement of something is distinct from its substance. To compose or represent. This wall forms the background of the stage setting. Give shape or form to. Form the young child's character. Physical chemistry. A distinct state of matter in a system. Matter that is identical in chemical composition and physical state and separated from other material by the phase boundary. A mold for setting concrete. They built elaborate forms for pouring the foundation. An ability to perform well. He was at the top of his form. An arrangement of the elements in a composition or discourse. The essay was in the form of a dialogue. A particular mode in which something is manifested. His resentment took the form of extreme hostility. A printed document with spaces in which to write. He filled out his tax form. Assume a form or shape. The water formed little beads. Biology. A group of organisms within a species that differ in trivial ways from similar groups. An event that departs from expectations. Biology. A group of organisms within a species that differ in trivial ways from similar groups. A variable quantity that is random. Something a little different from others of the same type. A variant of the same word. Differing from a norm or standard. A variant spelling. Exhibiting variation and change. Letters variant in size. Call forth. A special variety of domesticated animals within a species. He experimented on a particular breed of white rats. Have young, animals, or reproduce, organisms. Pandas rarely breed in captivity. Copulate with a female, used especially of horses. A special type. Google represents a new breed of entrepreneurs. Cause to procreate, animals. She breeds dogs. The handle of a handgun or the butt end of a rifle or shotgun are part of the support of a machine gun or artillery gun. The rifle had been fitted with a special stock. The merchandise that a shop has on hand. Persistent thickened stem of herbaceous perennial plant. Any of several Old World plants cultivated for their brightly colored flowers. Repeated too often. Overfamiliar through overuse. A stalk answer. Put forth and grow sprouts or shoots. The descendants of one individual. Any of various ornamental flowering plants of the genus Malcolmia. A special variety of domesticated animals within a species. Have on hand. A supply of something available for future use. Any animals kept for use or profit. A certificate documenting the shareholder's ownership in the corporation. The value of his stocks doubled during the past year. Amass so as to keep for future use or sale or for a particular occasion or use. Let's stock coffee as long as prices are low. Regularly and widely used or sold. A stock item. Liquid in which meat and vegetables are simmered, used as a basis for e.g. soups or sauces. She made gravy with a base of beef stock. An ornamental white cravat. A plant or stem onto which a graft is made, especially a plant grown specifically to provide the root part of grafted plants. Equip with a stock. Stock a rifle. Lumber used in the construction of something. They will cut round stock to 1-inch diameter. Provide or furnish with a stock of something. Stock the larder with meat. Routine. A stock answer. Supply with fish. Stock a lake. Supply with livestock. Stock a farm. The capital raised by a corporation through the issue of shares entitling holders to an ownership interest, equity. He owns a controlling share of the company's stock. The handle end of some implements or tools. He grabbed the cue by the stalk. The reputation and popularity a person has. His stock was so high he could have been elected mayor. The general meaning or substance of an utterance. Although I disagreed with him, I could follow the tenor of his argument. The adult male singing voice above baritone. An adult male with a tenor voice. A settled or prevailing or habitual course of a person's life. Nothing disturbed the even tenor of her ways. Of a musical instrument, intermediate between alto and baritone or bass. A tenor sax. Of or close in range to the highest natural adult male voice. Tenor voice. The pitch range of the highest male voice. Move forward or upward in order to touch, also in a metaphorical sense. Government reaches out to the people. The act of physically reaching or thrusting out. Be in or establish communication with. Our advertisements reach millions. The limit of capability. The limits within which something can be effective. He was beyond the reach of their fire. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. Outside the reach of the law. Reach a goal. Reach a point in time, or a certain state or level. This car can reach a speed of 140 miles per hour. Place into the hands or custody of. To extend as far as. The sunlight reached the wall. To exert much effort or energy. To gain with effort. Reach a destination, either real or abstract. The water reached the doorstep. Attempt by employing effort. To exert much effort or energy. An effortful attempt to attain a goal. An effortful attempt to attain a goal. An effortful attempt to attain a goal.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.